Hey guys, what's up? It's Megadan29, and you're watching Captain Algebra. Mega Powers Unite! Hey guys.
Hey everybody, Captain Algebra here. A while back, Megadan did a video on the NES games he owned as a child, and then he did a video on the Super Nintendo one. So I did a response and did the NES games I owned as a kid, but then I wanted to do more. I wanted to do all the games I had as a kid, up through a certain point. I don't know if we'll hit like PlayStation or PlayStation 2, but at least NES, Genesis, Game Boy, SNES, that kind of stuff. I think it's always fun to look at what games do we have as kids. So today we're doing my Game Boy collection. So let's go through that right away. We've got it in just alphabetical order except for the box games. First, we've got Battletoads. I absolutely love this game. This is the only Battletoads games that I owned as a kid. So really, I didn't know the difficulty of Battletoads. I didn't know, about the turbo tunnel and stuff like that, but I used to love playing that game. I never did beat it, but I had a load of fun playing it. And then we had Bart versus the Juggernauts. I love this game. We used to play it a bunch. Had so much fun doing the little mini games. I know a lot of the Simpsons games aren't great, but I think that one's kind of fun. Next one is one of my favorite Game Boy games of all time, and that is Donkey Kong. This game was so cool. So it starts off just like normal Donkey Kong. You got normal 4 levels, but then Donkey Kong escapes, grabs Pauline, and leaves through a door, and all of a sudden this whole new world opens up to you. And I think there's like 99 levels. It's super cool. So there's like a couple basic levels, and then you have a boss fight with Donkey Kong. Then you got a couple more levels, and then you have a boss fight with Donkey Kong, and then you go to the next world. It's super cool. Obviously updated graphics. You can do different moves like a handstand and stuff like that. And your goal is to find a key and then open a door and follow Donkey Kong. Very cool game. Next one, Donkey Kong Land. So I was a huge fan of Donkey Kong Country. We own Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 all on the SNES. And so when we saw Donkey Kong Land on the Game Boy, we were like, yeah, let's play it. It is not great. I did play through it, I think, last year or 2 years ago. The problem with this game is it is so zoomed in because they want to maintain as much of the graphics as possible from the Super Nintendo that it makes it really hard to see some enemies. You kind of have to go super slow, and then there's some blind jumps too. And then there's a cloud level towards the end of the game that is super annoying. And the only way to save is to get the Kong letters, which in some levels, no problem finding them. In other levels, it's a little more difficult. But overall, it's a decent game, but not as good as the Donkey Kong Country games. Then we had the Flintstones, King Rock Treasure Island. I used to love playing this game. It's a very fun Flintstones platformer. Back in the day, I ended up actually selling all my Game Boy stuff. And this is one I really wanted back badly. So a few years ago, before we had kids, I was away for the weekend. And my wife, I had told her that this was at the game store and I wanted to grab it at some point. And while I was gone, she went and picked it up and gave it to me when I got home. So that was super cool. And after that, I played through it and I absolutely love this game. Next, we got Kirbys Pinball Land. I've never been a good pinball player, and so I always sucked at this game, but I loved the Kirby games, but this one's just okay. Next, we got Mega Man 3. So we had Mega Man 1 on the NES, but this was the only other Mega Man game we had, and I always thought this one was super difficult. I had no problem with Mega Man on the NES because I played it enough, but this one, I don't know, with just being on the Game Boy, with being a smaller screen, enemies are a little bit bigger, it was tough to get used to. I have since beaten Mega Man 3 on the NES, so it'd be cool to actually go through this and beat it to see how it compares. Then we've got Metroid II. I love this game. I know a lot of people look down on it. It's not a great Metroid game, but I think it's phenomenal. It's a little bit more linear than the original Metroid game, which I like. Yes, it still doesn't have a map, but I thought the atmosphere was very good. The music was phenomenal, and it was just kind of cool hunting down Metroids. You got the little Metroid counter at the bottom of the screen, and you're going through and trying to kill them. And every time you take out a Metroid, or a certain amount of Metroids in an area, there's like this big, kind of like an earthquake, and now you can access other areas because the acid has gone away. So super fun game. I do highly recommend it. And we've got Pipe Dream, just a puzzle game. This one we didn't play too much. I'd throw it in every once in a while. I was never really that good at it. I just don't think I understood it when I was a super young kid. Then we got another one of my favorite games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Fall of the Foot Clan. This game was phenomenal. I was a huge fan of the Turtles growing up. Loved the cartoon. And I just love this, I think, partially because it was so short and it was easy. You know, when you're a kid, you want easy games. But I was always Leonardo. I never picked any other turtle. And I used to run through the game. No death run it. I mean, there might have been even times where I beat it without even getting hits. Like, that's how often I played this game. And to me, it's probably... I don't know if it's the best Turtles game on the Game Boy, but it's fun. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Back from the Sewers. So we had Fall of the Foot Clan, we had to get this. Now this is definitely a different style of the game. They changed the graphics up, and it is a much longer game and a much harder game. There's some things in this game that are super hard to avoid. And so I played it, but I never got that far. I think part of it was I was a little too impatient as a kid. But overall, it is a pretty good game. I beat it a couple years ago. But Fall of the Foot Clan is better. And then a game everyone had, right? Came with the console. Tetris, used to love playing this. And then we've got Super Mario Land, a phenomenal Mario game. Definitely does not get enough praise. I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it too much, and they should. I mean, it's very, very different, right? You're going after, was it Tatanga? Is that the guy's name? But it's such a cool game. I love the music. The game plays pretty well. Mario kind of falls like a rock, unfortunately. So the gravity kind of is weird on it, but there's some shooter levels, which is really cool. It's just a short, fun Mario game, and it's one I highly recommend. And then we've got Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. I love this game. I thought it was so cool you could finally play as Wario, and you could get all the different hats that had different abilities. I loved the rocket hat that allowed you to fly over the stage, and the the alligator hat that you could blow fire with, and it even worked underwater. That was super cool. As a kid, I never 100%ed it. There were some of the treasures that were kind of hard to find. I have since gone back and found all of them and 100%ed the game and got the best ending. But this is such a cool game. To this day, it's still my favorite Wario Land game. I have all 4 Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. And I've only played through the first 2. I've started 3. But so far, 1 is so much better than the other ones. And then the last loose game I got is Yoshi. A really strange puzzle game. You're kind of Yoshi at the bottom of the screen, turning platforms around. Your goal is to complete eggs to get your score up. It's okay, but I never liked it that much. And then finally, we got 2 box games. First, we got Kirbys Dreamland. I love this game. So much fun. I still remember the first time I got to King DDD, having no idea how to beat him. Like, I'm just trying to, like, suck him up, trying to hit him, like, whatever you can do. Nothing's working. Then I finally figured out you had to suck up the stars and shoot the stars at him. So that was really cool. But I had no idea that there was a NES Kirby game and that this was the first Kirby game ever. Since then I have played the Kirby Adventure on the NES. I have Kirby's Dreamland 2 on the Game Boy. And I do like the Kirby games, but this is where it all started for me. And then finally, probably my favorite Game Boy game of all time, Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins. I played this game so much. So as a kid, we lived in Illinois, and my grandparents lived in northern Wisconsin, and that was like a 6 to 7 hour drive whenever we went to visit them for holidays. And so bringing the Game Boy along was a huge part of my childhood, and I just remember playing that so much. I absolutely loved the game. Now, there were some stages I could never figure out how to get to because there are some secret exits. So I didn't really like 100% the game as a kid, but I had so much fun. And I remember always whenever I got to Wario's castle, my hands just start to sweat. Like, that level I felt like was so much harder than the rest of the levels because you had to be so precise with some of your jumps. And there's the part where the platforms are going back and forth and they go underneath the platform and you have to time it right to jump onto it or step onto it. Oof. So nerve-wracking, but such a phenomenal game. So there you go. Those are the Game Boy games that I owned as a kid. I used to love playing the Game Boy on trips and stuff. I don't play it too much anymore, and when I do, I use my Super Game Boy because honestly, the Game Boy is just a little too tiny for my hands these days, and I just like playing it on the big screen. But yes, I plan to do more of these types of videos. Please let me know if you're interested in that. And if you are, what do you want to see next? Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis? Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, this is Captain Algebra, signing off.